The South China Sea. 10 years ago, I covered it in Europe. Today, I meet the people who live by it.
How do you feel?
Lelah.
Rumah teman saya itu pinggir pantai. Jadi begitu saya ke situ lagi hilang.
Why? Because sometimes you see these very dramatic images. How is he as a controller? Is his dream your dream too?
What exactly did Zheng He leave behind?
Join me as I uncover the other side of the South China Sea story.
Conflict or collaboration? What comes to mind when you think of the South China Sea? I'm standing on a rock near Yongxing Island, the seat of China's southernmost city of Sansha. The water here looks calm and crystal clear, but in your headlines, the South China Sea is wavy and choppy and murky, clouded by disputes deliberately stirred up by countries from within the region and beyond. Now, what exactly is the true story of the South China Sea?
The South China Sea is an immense body of water that stretches more than 3 million square kilometers across the maritime crossroads of Asia. It carries around a third of the world's shipping.
很多战略资源，包括国际贸易航运，都要通过南海穿越马六甲海峡。所以南海对中国的战略地位和地缘政治是举足轻重的。
Yet, this sea has been a magnet for competing claims, diplomatic tensions and international drama, especially when the Philippines took China to a so-called arbitration in 2013, which ruled on the issue in 2016.
In a tense dispute over the South China Sea, a landmark ruling today. An international arbitration court says China does not have territorial rights there.
But China has so far refused to attend these hearings.
On the grounds that the action violated both bilateral agreements and international law and norms, and that the arbitral tribunal had no jurisdiction, China declared it would neither accept nor participate in the process.
The illegal ruling.
I followed the story on site in the Netherlands and witnessed firsthand the mounting pressure China faced. But it stood firm. China insists that countries involved should resolve their differences through consultation while carrying out practical cooperation.
重构这个海上之路，特别是周边国家的共同开发，实际上是我们提倡的。
How has China's stance translated into action on the ground? To find out, I'm heading to Malaysia and Indonesia. Each has its own differences with China regarding the issue. Yet, joint projects have taken hold. I'm going to meet some of the people behind those partnerships. My first stop is Malacca on the west coast of peninsular Malaysia. Between 1405 and 1433, the Ming Dynasty navigator Zheng He commanded 7 large-scale maritime expeditions through the South China Sea, reaching as far as Africa. This was almost a century before Christopher Columbus reached the Americas. His fleets called at Malacca at least 5 times, helping establish it as a busy trading port in the region.
There are many references to Admiral Zheng He. On this stone tablet, for instance, it's written, Admiral Zheng He arrived in Malacca in 1405. That's over 620 years ago. And right across here, there's a Zheng He Research Center, and I'm told there's a Zheng He Gallery right across the river as well. What exactly did Zheng He leave behind? I'm going to meet someone who can tell me all about it.
Hi, you are Miss Liu Xing. Welcome to Malacca. I'm Ronald Gan.
Datuk Ronald Gan is a 6th-generation descendant of a prominent Chinese immigrant. He has dedicated himself to preserving the Chinese heritage here. At the Zhenghe Gallery, he told me about Zhenghe's legendary visits.
This is what they call China. They don't say ceramic, but this thing is called China.
What do you think he brought to the local people?
I think the most important thing for we Malaccan is he brought friendship. He brought the big brother kind of spirit where he protected us. Zhenghe never invade. So that is why the whole elevation of this Zhenghe visit during the Ming Dynasty lasted so long.
How long would he stay in here before he moves on?
Those days, we don't have engine, you know. So it all depends on the condition of the wind. When the wind is favorable, they move.
I see. Otherwise, they have to wait.
Yeah.
And interacting with the locals.
Correct.
When Chinese immigrants married local women, the culture here changed forever. Their sons became known as Baba and their daughters Nyonya. I'm going to meet a lady who will introduce me to Nyonya cuisine.
你好 ，Hello， 太漂亮了。
Lucy Wee is a fifth-generation Nyonya. She has been running this restaurant for 17 years with her husband and children.
这是什么？
这个是我们的咸菜鸭汤，有咸菜，有鸭，还有最重要是要有阿三皮。
阿三
阿三皮是树上的一个果来的，切成皮了之后，那晒干。我们所有的娘惹菜要带它的酸味啊。
很适合夏天，一点都不油腻。哇，这是什么？
这一个是我们的鸭酸辣鱼，用羊角豆啊，用茄子啊，香茅、风干叶，把那个整个味道啊更加提升，
好不好
很下饭。
很下饭，太饿了，越吃越饿。Finally， 我们 try 这个好吧？这个也是这边的一个特色的吃法。
对呀、
是不是
榴莲，对。
这样还是这样？
先拿了
榴莲，榴莲，然后再配点这个糯米，这叫椰汁的糯米饭是吗？
对，
椰汁的糯米饭。
娘惹很喜欢把榴莲配白饭，没有菜都不要紧，榴莲配白饭很好吃。
Interesting combination。下次我在北京，我也可以买榴莲配白饭。
配白饭，对。
然后我就会想到娘惹菜，我要做娘惹人。
After soaking up the atmosphere one last time, I sat myself down beside the Malacca River. I thought about Zhenghe and his many visits and suspected he may have quite enjoyed coming here. I'm heading to the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia now, a place of picturesque beaches and islands.
It's a peaceful morning here, and I'm in Kuantan, capital city of Pahang State in Malaysia. The local people are enjoying themselves. For me, this is a big shift of perspective because normally I talk about big things, relations between countries, projects worth billions of dollars, but now and here, I wonder what all these people care about the most.
For thousands of kilometers, Malaysia's coast hugs the South China Sea. But beside beautiful beaches, Kuantan is becoming a significant economic hub. Ye Jingtao, locally known as Ben Ye, is Deputy General Manager of Beibu Gulf Holdings Malaysia. 11 years ago, he came here from China to establish what was to become one of China's largest investments in Malaysia, the Malaysian-China Kuantan Industrial Park.
您觉得你们来这里投资，给当地带来了什么？
最直接的带来就是就业岗位，然后就是税收，就是社区贡献。其实我个人觉得，就是我们讲宏大的叙事，我们讲“一带一路”。我们讲国家与国家之间的关系，实际上最后其实都要落到人和人之间的交往上来。中方团队也好，马方团队也好，大家在一起工作，我们花了时间，我们怎么去解决事情，别人看在眼里的。然后最后大家融合成一个团队之后，他们自然而然会跟上我们的工作节奏。
所以中国和周边国家之间的务实合作有很大一部分其实是技能的 相互的交流和赋能？
其实我觉得跨文化的一个核心点是足够的开放包容。首先就开放的接受这个事情，然后坐下来谈，大家能够找到契合点往前走，找不到契合点找原因。其实大家的核心目的都是为了过好生活，但是我们从这些小切口，从我们每一天的日常生活中，我们工作在一起，我们去寻找彼此的价值，我们去获得财富，获得我们工资回报也好，或者技能回报也好，
或者快乐。
对，的确最重要的，真的是最重要的。
Ben Ye suggests that I meet a local employee called Nafi.
他真的是我招进来的，然后我们从最开始的时候的现场的我们叫巡检员 patrolman， 到现在他要去负责整个系统性能控制，我很乐意把他介绍给你们。
How long have you been working here?
6 years.
Before joining Kuantan Port, 31-year-old Nafi was a freelance technician. Like many local recruits, he had little experience working in a large industrial operation. Today, as a low-voltage electrical engineer, Nafi is part of a new generation of Malaysians building their careers at the port.
How many meters?
50 meters.
50?
Ah.
Ooh!
What do you feel?
How do I feel?
Kuantan Port forms part of the Two Countries Twin Parks initiative, a flagship program linking industrial parks in Malaysia and China. The initiative has attracted billions of dollars in investment and created thousands of local jobs. But behind the numbers, I'm interested in what such projects mean for people like Nafi.
Do you remember the first day you came up here and worked? How did you feel?
Saya rasa bangga, tapi saya tak tahu lagi sistem macam ni dekat sini. Saya mungkin ada basic electrical, memang tak tahu langsung.
And how do you feel today?
Ya, saya berasa puas lah. Dengan sekarang saya rasa lebih confident lah. Daripada saya zero, daripada betul-betul zero, sekarang saya dah boleh banyak buat kerja lah.
I followed Nafi to a training session. A Chinese colleague will teach him how to use a new AI tool to monitor the huge stacker reclaimer he controls.
If cargo
come in, wavy. Yes, wavy.
I observed them talking in English, a language foreign to both of them.
If you build the queue, the tool blocker, and build the automatic stop, you can click there. Click the button.
Need to click. Need to click. Not the SR stop.
Yes.
No.
You need the manual. Use
need manual.
click.
Okay.
Yes.
So what did you teach Nafi to do just now?
I teach Nafi to how to calibration the baseline and how to modify the material density and how to display this data.
Find it very easy to talk to them, to understand them.
I can understand him, but I don't know he can understand me. I don't know.
I understand.
You don't understand?
You do.
Okay.
I could tell that Nafi was relishing this opportunity.
How is he as a controller? 他做得怎么样?
Yes, very good.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
One thing I did find surprising was that there are only 6 Chinese nationals working at the port, but almost 600 Malaysians. That's a lot of skill sharing.
关丹港是马来西亚的公共的散货码头里面最大的，这一个最大的就意味着它的人才没有这么多，之前没有这些人做过。最开始的时候，我们来的这些同事真的是再小的事情都要手把手的教。我们说起来很简单，但是呢，每一个设备它都不一样的。这一些只有在实践当中，大家看到了，大家知道怎么去做了，才了解。这种传递，它一定是人和人之间的。做外派工作，有些时候我觉得我们的价值有些时候就是这样。
The port introduced me to Nafi the employee. That evening, Nafi introduced me to his family.
First time, use the hand. First time. Enjoy your marriage.
吃饭. How do you say 吃饭 in Malay?
Makan.
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 Makan, makan.
Makan.
Makan. What do you like most about your job now?
Yang saya suka bila saya join Kuantan Pop, dari situlah Cina banyak ajar saya lah. Dari situ saya dapat sampai tahap sekarang lah, saya boleh faham.
Did him getting a job at the port make a difference for you?
Bila dia join Kuantan Port, saya boleh rasa dia ada pendapatan yang stabil lah untuk masa depan.
What is your dream?
Saya nak bagi family saya happy lah dengan apa yang saya buat ni. Sampai saya rasa puas hati dan isteri anak saya puas hati lah.
Impian dia, impian saya juga.
Good. That's why you're a family.
My next stop is Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia, another Southeast Asian neighbor of China. During his 15th century voyages, Chinese navigator Zheng He also visited Java and Sumatra repeatedly, making him a respected figure here too. The Chinatown in Jakarta felt both new and familiar.
镇江香醋, so vinegar from my hometown, the best.
Today, Indonesia is home to one of the largest ethnic Chinese communities in Southeast Asia, but this time, my focus is on something that touches the wider population. Jakarta has been facing environmental pressure for years, including flooding, sinking land, and rising sea levels. But it's not alone. Similar challenges are affecting large parts of Java, the island Jakarta sits on. As Indonesians step up to boost environmental security, how are Chinese investors contributing? I'm making my way to Java's northern coast, a place called Serang in Baten province, where shoreline erosion is a major concern. This is also where China-Indonesia Energy Project is located.
This is the Java 7 power plant. It's one of the biggest and most technologically advanced in Indonesia. It produces a whopping 15 million megawatt hours of electricity every year, enough to power over 12 million Indonesian homes. But this plant does a lot more than produce electricity.
As energy demand soars across the country, mega projects like this are now part of a much bigger national development story. Java 7 has won numerous awards for engineering and operational excellence, but building big also means protecting the small. And it turns out one of the simplest ways to do so is also one of the oldest, mangroves. I'm meeting fishermen, father and son-in-law Wiro and Dika to understand the challenges they face here.
Got it.
Di daerah sini ada di daerah pesisir utara selatan sana ada desa yang tenggelam karena udah abrasi.
Bukan kayak tsunami gitu, bukan, jadi sedikit terkikis. Gitu.
Have you ever seen something about coastline erosion for yourself which really surprised you?
Saya di sini memang ada di daerah Lontar, rumah teman saya itu pinggir pantai. Jadi begitu saya ke situ lagi hilang. 5 tahun kemudian tuh hilang lagi gitu. Kok kemana gitu?
Manfaat dari mangrove itu akar-akarnya membantu menjadi benteng dari abrasi yang terjadi oleh ombak. Jadi dia menahan.
As I joined them on a community tree planting day, we passed Java 7, where plans for mangrove restoration were put in place even before the construction of the plant began. 8 years on, the company has organized multiple planting activities. As a result, its reforestation site has grown to nearly 19 hectares, adding much-needed momentum to local fishermen's own initiatives.
Kita dulu garis pantai itu lurus sini, ngurusin.
Yeah.
Ya, jadi sekarang karena abrasi mundur sekitar kurang lebih 1 kilometer. Kami sudah melakukan penanaman mangrove sudah 2 kali di lokasi ya. Sebelumnya di sana yang sudah hijau.
These are mangrove trees?
Yeah, this is. Nanti semua teman-teman dari nelayan warga Desa Terate akan turun tanam mangrove di sini. Lisun ikut nanam juga ya?
I will join you today.
Oke.
Looking at the shore from a distance, our task looked pretty straightforward. Little did I know.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu sudah ikut berpartisipasi dalam rangka kita kegiatan untuk menanam mangrove di area pesisir pantai. Nanti untuk posisi kegiatan kita atur bersama itu 6 baris. 6 baris nanti kita atur satu-satu biar semuanya rapi. Setuju? Setuju. Semangat ya? Oke, gas. Yuk, semangat. Yuk. Oke.
Let's go.
10 biar cepat. Satu orang 10. Siapa lagi?
Much of the coastline sits on layers of mud, silt and sand rather than solid rock. So when we walked into the mangrove area, we were literally standing on the soft ground that makes these shorelines vulnerable. It was really eye-opening.
Wes. Wah. Ya istirahat dulu.
How do you feel?
Aish, lelah. Proses penanaman mangrove ini cukup melelahkan karena lumpurnya dalam. Tapi semoga pohon ini bisa bertumbuh besar hingga bisa memberikan manfaat kepada kami, teman-teman nelayan di sekitar Desa Terate. Ayo bro, semangat!
Wow, this is tough.
Harusnya kamu jalan kayak buaya. Swimming. Mereka semangat untuk ikutan.
Admire your courage.
Spending the day as a local fisherman was very humbling. To cap the day off, Viro and Dika invited me to their home to chat further and enjoy a family dinner Indonesian style. I asked them the reasons behind the loss of mangrove trees.
Mungkin ya ulah manusianya juga kali. Banyak penebangan. Ya sebetulnya kehilangan mangrove itu memang sedih banget sih. Karena kita sekarang ini kan memerlukannya dibandingkan dengan dulu.
What kind of changes have you noticed vis-a-vis the mangrove trees and the fishing activity because of the power plant?
Pada dulu sebelum perusahaan itu berdiri, di area sekitar itu kan hanya kawasan tambak. Jadi hutan mangrove itu tidak banyak. Semenjak dibangunnya perusahaan PLTU Jawa 7, pihak perusahaan concern terhadap penanaman mangrove. Sekarang sudah hampir berapa ribu pohon mangrove ada di situ. Ekosistem terjadi di situ. Hewan, burung, satwa liar ada. Jadi sekarang udah cukup bagus. Semenjak berdirinya perusahaan PLTU, alhamdulillah mereka juga peduli terhadap masyarakat nelayan sekitar di Desa Terate khususnya. Pihak perusahaan setiap tahunnya concern atau misalnya komitmen untuk memberikan CSR setiap tahun kepada kami dari pihak PLTU terkait alat tangkap atau pemberdayaan yang lainnya. Itu sangat positif bagi kami nelayan sekitar.
What are your thoughts going forward? How would you comment on your life in the 50 years that you've been fishing?
Suka dukanya ya, kalau sukanya dapat ikan banyak. Dukanya ya pada waktu ya cuaca buruk di tengah laut, mana gelombang gede, hujan, itulah yang sangat menderita bagi nelayan. Kita harus terjang terus, biarpun badai. Kita memang untuk hidup.
Whoa, fish. Wow, this looks great. Wow, this is great. Okay, I'm using my hand.
Wah, penuh.
It's a lot. I'm hungry today, you know, I'm hungry. We worked today, so okay. I'm eating a lot. All right, thank you. Please, please. Okay. All the very best.
Terima kasih kembali.
My South China Sea trip has given me a lot to think about. To make sense of it all, I talked with Yan Yan, one of China's most eloquent South China Sea scholars.
Are the stories of Indonesia and Malaysia that we reported this time, are they isolated incidents or are they representative of China's cooperation with Southeastern Asian countries in general?
I think there are so many cases like them. It's just they haven't been reported by the media. So I think that you should explore more of these stories. You see, countries' maritime policy differs greatly from one to another. So we focus more on cooperation, on those projects. In terms of the Philippines is very ambitious now and they wanted to change the status quo. But I don't think that will be a very big problem because China currently have the capability to maintain the peace and stability in the region. And I don't think that large scale of incidents or conflict will happen in the foreseeable future.
Why? Because sometimes you see these very dramatic images. It looks pretty bad.
The Western media always like to selectively reporting all those incidents in the South China Sea, and they wanted to simplify this very complex historic and legal dispute in the South China Sea to binary great nation versus small country theory.
10 years on, more complexity has been added to the situation. The Philippines continues to provoke tensions. It's even colluding with Japan on so-called delimitation talks, infringing upon Chinese maritime rights and interests. China, on the other hand, stays anchored in maintaining peace and stability. After years of multilateral negotiations, a code of conduct in the South China Sea is on the horizon. It's proof that dialogue, instead of pressuring, works.
What do you think the South China Sea ruling did to this region?
It not just facilitates some of the claimant states to conduct unilateral actions in the region, it also poisoned the atmosphere for dialogue and consultation. It's a real pity.
Will the territorial disputes ever be resolved? Only time will tell. But having traveled to the other side of the South China Sea, I have become more hopeful. Away from the limelight, there are countless ordinary folks quietly building bridges every single day, and that's worth remembering.